Hello, my name is Mike Fryer and you're watching In Conversation, and welcome to you. And in conversation with us today is Jack van der Tang from The Hague in the Netherlands. Jack, welcome.
Thank you, Mike, for being here, for having me here.
It's a pleasure, it's our privilege.
Okay.
It's good to be in conversation with you,
Thanks.
Jack. Jack, you're the director of Pillar of Fire in The Hague. Can you tell me about that?
Pillar of Fire is an Israel organization, an Israel ministry. And our head office is in The Hague, but I have more groups in the Netherlands. And yeah, we're organizing Israel evenings and much more than that. We have all kinds of things what we are doing. But the head office is in The Hague, yes.
Okay. And that organization has 50, has network connections with 50 other Israeli organizations.
Yes, we have an Israel platform, and that's the name of this. And there are involved 50 Israel organizations in the Netherlands. And the Netherlands is much smaller than England or Great Britain. And we have already 50. And yes, I am doing the coordination between it, organizing days, meetings, to meet, to talk, to teach, to listen. Yes, that's very special, because I understand from other countries that this is in the Netherlands absolutely unique. Yes. Yeah,
I think it is. I think we have a lot in the UK, but not nowhere near as many as 50. Yeah. How many of those would you say are Christian
No, it's only Christians.
Right.
Yes.
That's really encouraging, Jack.
Yes. And it's very important to meet, because the time that is coming, you have to know each other. It's not that it's a platform. It's more meeting, listening to each other, to work together. But every organization has its own identity. And there are organizations with 1-2 persons, but Christians for Israel, for example, has 100,000 members, and they have a news magazine about 60,000 copies. So there's a big difference between all the organizations, a lot of visions, a lot of difficulties between some organizations. And it's a miracle that we can work together. But when we meet each other, there's a friendship, there is understanding of what we are doing, absolutely.
That has to be from the Lord then, with such a strong network like that.
It starts with the prayer meetings.
Right.
And then we decided to invite people, because we feel it's important in this time to don't work alone, but to know each other. And it starts, and suddenly it grows and grows, and yeah, it's very special, absolutely.
Yeah. I noticed in Wales on the 24th of November of this year, a number of Israeli supporting organisations in Wales are coming together to join with an organisation called Bridges for Peace to meet in Cardiff to have a Support Israel Day. So that's in a small way very similar to what you're doing in the Hague.
Yeah, absolutely. What we are now doing with the Israel platform is, I'm doing in the 12th of April, I invite a very famous man from Israel, a very good man, and he's coming to speak to us. So we want to discuss about the times we are living in, about the problems about Israel. And I only invite the leaders of the organizations and the board members. And I ask them, if you have somebody in your organization, you feel I have to invite him, he is allowed to come. But we don't, it's not an open day. That's different. It's also for meeting. The relations is the most important. Absolutely.
The Lord works through relationships, Jack.
Absolutely.
You also produce a magazine.
Yes.
You've just published this magazine this month.
Yes, that's an old one. But today, by mail, we are sending a lot of copies. And the name is Blow the Shofar. And the Lord gives me this name some years ago, and now the title is Mobilization. Blow the Shofar is, yeah, we feel that it's the time for mobilization in the Netherlands, but not only in the Netherlands, worldwide, because the times we're living in, and we don't understand what is going on. Yes, absolutely. And it's very strange, the reaction on this magazine, because the numbers are not so high. I've printed now 10,000 copies, and we give it for free. That's also special. We believe that the Lord will supply for the costs. And yeah, I feel blessed, because I ask people to write, very fine people, men of God, and they ask, okay, what do you want? And I said, I only want pray. Ask the Lord, what is the subject you have to write about? And this time, when I was finished, I couldn't cry, because all the articles, it was absolutely a unity in this magazine. There was a unity about mobilization, about the times we're living in. And it seems that a lot of people knows there's some strange in this time. But they go on with their church, they go on with their activities. But they don't realize that we have to stop and to pray time for change. We have to focus on the Lord. Because Yeshua is coming, Jesus is coming, and we don't see it. That's right. The problem. And that's what I want. Blow the shofar. Yes. There's coming danger.
And the fruit of the Spirit is brothers coming together,
yes,
in His name, to work together to see that the fulfillment of the prophets in these times.
Yes.
Before we go on, Jack, about that, because I want to come to that at the end of the program, about the word that you had from the Lord about mobilization, I want to ask you to explain a little bit about the Hague and how important that is, you feel, and many others feel, in world affairs.
Okay, the Hague is good that you ask this, because a lot of people don't realize that the Hague is, and because I'm living there, you can say, yeah, that's the reason, but that's not the reason. The Hague is one of the most important cities in the world. Why? Because The Hague is the city of the false peace. That's the title I give it. It's my birthplace, it's my living place. That's where I live, and I love my city. But The Hague is also, in the last years, now become to the second city of the United Nations. And we have 131 organizations involved in judgment. And the title on the website of our city, of the official, of the mayor, is, and they are proud of it, we are the city of peace and judgment and safety. And the reason is we have International Court of Justice, we have the Peace Palace, and we have the crime courts for all kind of countries between. They're fighting between countries, not between people, but also between groups of people, countries. And we have 14,000 people, I believe, I'm not sure exactly the numbers, 14,000 people working only, they are busy with the laws, international laws. And there is doing a lot of things. So we are officially, for the United Nations, we are the capital in the world about judgment, about righteousness. And I can tell you that some year, maybe in half a year ago, I was praying, and I was praying for my city, and suddenly I started to cry. And the Lord showed me, and I knew it in my head, but I didn't know in my heart. And suddenly the Lord showed me that what we do in The Hague is we take the promises about Jerusalem, the city of peace, the city where the word is going out all over the world, we've taken it to The Hague. And that's what we are doing. And that's the reason that I say this city is the city of the false peace. And a lot of my guests from Israel or other countries are always surprised when I say this, and they didn't know this, absolutely.
Because the laws that are made in The Hague aren't necessarily aligned with the laws that God has put on the hearts of the people in Jerusalem.
No, absolutely.
The different laws often.
Yeah, laws made by the United Nations, for example, yes.
Yes. Now, when we look at Holland and see the government in Holland, I noticed from reading about the decisions that they've made recently that they've made major decisions regarding Israel itself and the division of the land in Israel. Can you tell us about that, Jack?
Yes. It's, I'm not proud on my government in a way how it is, because it's not all from the Lord, absolutely not. But I believe that this government is the most pro-Israel in Europe. I don't know outside Europe, but it's absolutely pro-Israel. It's not perfect, but maybe a month, 2 months ago, I read in the newspaper that Ireland has decided to give an embassy for the Palestinian state. That was a statement. I was in a shock. And I was thinking, if they are doing this at first in the European Communion, how many countries are following this? So I directly write to the leader of the Christian party. I know him personal. I'm coming some ways in the parliament to talk with the politicians about Israel. And I write him, please, Kees, can you do something that the Netherlands is not following this example? And it's not only about because I'm writing this letter, absolutely not, but he makes a statement, and the most of the people of the government decided to sign this, and they say, we don't deal with this. We don't divide the country, Israel. We want no embassy. Be calm. And they say it also in Europe. We don't follow this, what Ireland do. Please be calm.
What I read was that the Dutch government have said that they recognize Israel as a full democratic state,
yes,
and that it's not the time to divide Israel and make a Palestinian Arab state in the land.
They're right, because the turmoil in the Middle East and everything what's going on, it's not bringing more peace to doing this. It's absolutely crazy to give a Palestinian state. Also because it's not in the Word of God.
Can you explain, Jack, does the Dutch government have any influence on the lawmaking in The Hague with regard to UN sanctions against Israel or the things that the UN are doing against Israel?
I believe that all the countries in Europe, they know, but they don't talk about it, that Brussels is the most important. They are responsible for the laws we're making now. So they talk about we are free, but in a way we are bounded by Brussels. They're making the laws and we have to follow, if we want or not. That's the rules. It's not in the Netherlands, no.
And I understand that there are about 14 countries in Europe who are about to create a Palestinian Arab embassy in their own countries. Is that right?
Yes, I don't know exactly the numbers. I don't know which, but they say, I heard also this news, and that was, I was in shock when I saw Ireland at first going, and today Norway also said to Israel, if you don't go on with the peace process, we are doing it the same like Ireland. We planted a Palestinian embassy in our country. It's not right what they are doing.
But it's clear that the Dutch government won't allow a Palestinian Arab state in their country.
Not on this moment.
No.
In a way, they have in their... yes, they believe that there have to become a Palestinian state at the end. Not our new, you know, the political party with Geert Wilders.
Yes.
He's very famous worldwide, but he absolutely don't agree with a Palestinian state.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you the only government in Europe who've said that? Because I know our government are looking towards a Palestinian Arab state.
What I believe, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you must be encouraged by that, because the word says that those who bless Israel and who follow the prophecies of God about Israel will be blessed. So what can we expect?
The Netherlands is not the example for a very good way living from the Bible. But that is for me absolutely a blessing, and it is an encouragement what is going on in the Netherlands, yes. And I appreciate what they're doing, but it's not good enough in my eyes. So we have to pray and to have contact with these people from the parliament and to encourage them, because the left-wing parties in our country are absolutely against Israel, and therefore they want the Palestinian state. So we are not there, absolutely not.
And that leads me on to anti-Semitism, because in the UK, the Community Security Trust, who record anti-Semitic crimes here, it's a charity, a Jewish charity, have shown us again this year that we've got a high level of anti-Semitism in the UK. There were 639 anti-Semitic attacks in 2010. Can you tell me what the situation is with regard to anti-Semitism on the streets in Holland?
Like everywhere, we have a lot of problems. And they say now in Amsterdam that it's not, the numbers are not growing. But they don't say that the police don't write it on the problems. So there is no statistics anymore about what is going on in Amsterdam. But I can tell you, if you have a kippah and you walk outside, it's not safe anymore to walk there. Okay. So if I have guests, it's not safe to go by train, or they have problems. They were attacked also by, they give a yell or they shout to them. Yes, and I can tell you that in another place, the head of the rabbis is living, and they broke his windows. And now some Christians come together, they make a sort of concept, and every hour there's somebody else at front of his house protecting him, and they walk with him when he's going to his work for a sort of bodyguard. It's unbelievable, it's fantastic, but it's the other way. It's crazy that this is possible in the Netherlands, and it is it's special the young people from Morocco. That are the biggest problem.
Okay. I'm really encouraged by that it's Christian communities who are standing alongside the Jewish communities
Yes.
in the UK and are being part of the security of the Jewish communities in Holland, because that's an example for us. And I know that some of our rabbis have police escorts to the synagogues on Sabbath, and because of the high levels of anti-Semitic crime here. But it may encourage our viewers to maybe contact the Community Security Trust on their website and just volunteer to maybe be a help to them and a support to them, and certainly an encouragement, as you're doing in Holland.
Yeah, but there is still the danger. We have not enough people. And what also, we have now, for the first time, a hidden synagogue in Amsterdam. Nobody knows where. He's hidden, and the Jewish people, Jewish believers, are coming to this place. And that's new, what we have.
Okay.
So there is, you see, there is growing anti-Semitic attacks, absolutely.
I've not heard of that, a hidden synagogue. And you say they're believers, so are they Messianic believers?
No, Jewish, Orthodox Jewish people.
Orthodox Jews.
Yes.
Okay. But nobody except them knows where this synagogue is?
Yes.
That's an indication, isn't it, of a real fear of being attacked. Jack, I wanted to ask you as well about the numbers of people making Aliyah, the numbers of Jews making Aliyah from Holland to Israel, and the connection between this higher level of anti-Semitism. Can you tell me, is the number of Jews making Aliyah higher in Holland now than they have been recently?
No, I get some list from Second World War every year, how many people are making Aliyah, and it's very low. It's very low. And we started, it's more Operation Exodus, Ebenezer, is starting now with everywhere prayer groups in the Netherlands, that there's coming a high rate about people who are making Aliyah to Israel. And I can tell you, we had last year maybe 30 or 50 people. That's very low. But I absolutely am convinced that the coming years, and starting this year, this level will be grow unbelievable, yes. But that's plan of the times we're living in.
Of course, and seeing the Jews being gathered back into the land is a fulfillment of prophecy.
I believe that the Jews, and also the people who are now watching this program, if you're a Jew, sell your house, take your luggage, and ask for permission and make Aliyah. This is the time that they have to leave their nation, their houses, because now they can go free. It's safe now. And your house is, yes, it's worth. It's money worth. So I think it's absolutely important that people are going to pray. We have to go.
You've come in from Holland last week. This is the second time you've been in the UK. But for the first time you've seen the reports on anti-Semitism. And the other day you watched the last programme of The Promise. What is your view on anti-Semitism in the UK, having had that knowledge and seen that programme?
I can tell you, you show me this programme on BBC 4, and I was surprised.
It was Channel 4.
Of Channel 4, okay, sorry. I was surprised because when we were in the gathering yesterday or the day before, there was a man who asked you, is this anti-Semitic? And I was surprised because he didn't recognize it. So this is more dangerous than I was thinking about. Because the historical setting it is in, it's a lie. It's absolutely a lie. And that is, this is coming to follow by anti-Semitic attacks, because it's giving a picture of the Jews. It's absolutely madness. It's crazy. It's absolutely a lie what you've seen there. And it's unbelievable that the BBC is sending this out.
It's not the BBC, Jackie. It was another. It was another channel. That we won't mention now. But the programme itself you saw as being
anti-Semitic. It's anti-Semitic. Yes, it's for me absolutely.
Are you surprised that we have this high level of anti-Semitism in the UK and that it's an ongoing problem?
Yes, I'm surprised, because also I believe that we didn't send this out in the Netherlands. It's not possible on this moment. And what I see and what I saw in the statistics is unbelievable what's going on here. But you have much more Jewish people here in England than we have in the Netherlands. So there is a difference. But what I see, and what I see with this film, it's a series of 4 evenings. Yeah. I was in a shock because the historical setting, you can say it's a drama, but it looks not like a drama. They give a picture of the Jews, and it's a lie, because if you know your history, you see, how is this possible that they mistake this? It's unbelievable.
And that sort of program wouldn't be televised in Holland?
That's not what I believe.
Okay.
I don't know of the future it's coming, but...
Jack, you are part of this organisation, or part of this network in Holland, that is actually very active. And we have Israel supporting Christian organisations in the UK that are also active. But you have had a word from God, I believe, about the times that we're coming into with regard to Israel. Can you explain to our viewers a little bit about that?
2 weeks ago, I have to speak in a church. And they asked me months ago to talk about intercession, prayer, intercession. And so when I was there, I start my preaching with, and I was surprised that I start with this. I said, my message is so important. It has to be on the primetime news, about 8 o'clock. It's so important. We have to see what's going on in this time. And you know, in 1939, we didn't know that there was a coming a Holocaust. We know there's coming a war, but we didn't know about the Holocaust. We're living now in a time, there's coming a war absolutely in the Middle East. That's what I believe, that is sure. But there is a difference between 1939 and 2011, because there is a call for a Holocaust in the Middle East. And we don't see that the countries in the first circle around Israel are calling for a destruction of Israel. They want to kill all the Jews. They want to destroy complete Israel. And if you see the countries behind it, and we see on the television, on the news, that it's about democracy. It's about the change. It's perfect. If we read what's going on, it's good. But it's a lie. Because what we don't see on the news is that there is one call common in the whole Middle East. Not only around the first circle. Also Iran, Tunisia, everywhere, Libya. What is calling there also is the time is coming, we want to destroy Israel. And it's unbelievable that we don't see the danger about Israel. And what's going on in Israel, it's about the coming of Yeshua, the Messiah. We don't see that Jerusalem is so important, that that is the place Yeshua is coming back. And what we are doing in our churches. We have our own programs. We have all kinds of things. No, we have to stop. We have to mobilize. We have to change our meetings. We have to kneel down. We have to pray for the Lord. We have to intercede for Israel. Because if we don't do it, we have a problem with the Lord, the God of Israel. And we have to kneel. We have to change everything, our programs. We cannot wait any longer more, because the war is coming. And you don't start with fighting if you don't have practiced. So we have to mobilize the Christians. We have to mobilize the people from the churches. We have to make places where we can pray, where we can intercede for Israel. Because this war is not only in the Middle East. It will come all over the world. That's what I believe, absolutely. And that's what the word gave me. And when I was preaching, I can tell you about this word. I never had the experience that God did more in me than in all the people. And when I was in the end, and I'm not a good preacher, absolutely not. But I saw all the people crying. And they said, that is the word of God. And that's what I feel everywhere. And now we make this, blow the shofar with mobilization. And I asked the Lord, I really don't know how we go on, but you have to help us. And that's what I feel. That's the time we're living in, and we don't see it. I don't know when this war started. But there's only one button, and it can start.
Yes, of course. And we know at the end of time that the Lord will be victorious, but he calls on his people to pray. Absolutely. And what you're saying is that in Holland, with your organizations, you and the leaders of those organizations are hearing this word mobilization.
Yes.
And the mobilization is for deep intercession for Israel. So how in Holland are you planning to get that word out and help people in groups to begin to pray specifically into the situation in Israel?
We have our magazine, and that's what we do now. We bring the message in the Netherlands on the radio. I have my own radio program in the Netherlands about Israel, and you can hear it. So I want to talk about this also on the radio, but we want to organize days, practicing days. And I have a good friend in Israel, over Amitai, and I invited also him to come because he's an intercessor and he's a good teacher. So we want to teach the people to how can you do it. But for example, I was in this meeting and there were a lot of young people with children, and they have to make decisions, because if you need prayer, you cannot say, who's going to the prayer meeting? Who's going for intercession? No, you have to talk with your partner about this. Who is responsible for the kids at home? And the prayer meetings have to change. We have a list. Okay, we are coming from 8 to 10. And it's not wrong. We are coming from 8 to 10, and we are praying for this, for that, for that. No, that have to change. We have to be quiet, to listen what the Holy Spirit is saying. And then we have to start to pray for that. It's like Rees Howells did. That's the prayer that he wants. We have to change our prayer meetings. And Mike, I have to learn this also by myself.
And myself.
I'm in the beginning, absolutely.
Jack, we're just going to finish with this program in conversation now. And as we come to an end, I think the message that you're bringing to us is that things are particularly serious in the Middle East, but also there is a serious issue in the West with regard to anti-Semitism. But you've encouraged us then, actually you're working together with other Israeli supporting Christian groups in Holland to pray and to organize intercession for Israel. And I think that message will really encourage many groups in the UK and help us to come together to seek the Lord on this matter, because it's only the Lord, I think you would agree, who can help us in these times.
If you don't
I want to thank you, Jack, for coming. Really blessed, and thank you for being with us. Goodbye.
Okay. Ready?
Okay, Jack, yeah.
I'm sorry, I talked too much. Maybe
no, you didn't. I wanted you to talk. Okay. I wanted you to talk. But I had to wind up quickly because